Hey class, so today I'm actually going to be showing you another tool from docsteach.org, and we're going to look at a specific activity in a second here, but all these making connections activities, it's through this making connections tool, analysis tool on the website. They basically present you with primary sources in like a thread, a string of documents or pictures, and it helps to convey to you a story of how history progressed, and it helps you to make connections among individual events and documents. So it's really trying to ask you to analyze each source and try to fill in the connections between the documents. How are they related, right? So it really helps you to again, analyze relationships among the documents. It helps you to understand historical events more fully, right? And how to put the pieces of evidence together into a single narrative. And it also helps you to explore different questions of causation and interpretations of history, and how the choice of evidence or sources can help to produce a unique historical narrative, right? So for this one, it covers the war in Vietnam, right? And this war's been described as a lot of times as a living room war, because a lot of the photos and footage was seen back at home on the news, right, in people's living rooms. So um, it was a pretty intense conflict, and in this activity, you're going to be studying and analyzing several photographs that many back then saw in their living rooms as they came on TV. So you're basically going to be practicing photo analysis, and you answer different questions like you want to look. You can look over the document here for further details to see when it was taken, where it's from, and they even provide you with a caption. But what they want you to do is you need to look at the photo for 2 minutes, zoom in, zoom out, right? Then answer in the response box that follows. So you want to list the people, objects, and activities you see. Where is it? What was happening when the photo was taken? Why was it taken? And then how you might categorize this photograph. What topic of the war does it cover? And it gives you some examples here. And then you want to write a caption for it. And then when you go into enter in your response, you enter it into the box here, following that same format. And then you hit next, and then you go on to the next photo. You study it, you can look at the details again, and repeat the process. So let's do one together here, the first one. So this, to me, it looks like American soldiers. Probably, I can't tell if it's which branch of the military, but it's probably Marines or Army. And it looks like you can see that they're sitting on top of a tank, and definitely looks like they're in Vietnam given the foliage, the jungles. So let's zoom in real quick, have it load for a second. Yeah, you can get pretty up close. And they're all covering their ears, right? So I would say, I see a tank. I would list that as one of the objects, right? Let's return to the activity. And in this box, I would list, oh, I see a tank, what appears to be American soldiers. It definitely looks like it's taken in Vietnam. I would just follow that format. So list the people, objects, and activities you see. So you'd list American Marines, a tank with a massive gun, and activities you see. They're shooting, right? And they are shooting into the jungle. Where is it? I'm gonna say Vietnam. And what was happening when this photo was taken? I would say it looks like the Marines are engaging in a battle with North Vietnamese jungle fighters. Why was it taken? Well, looking at it, I don't often see a lot of photos demonstrating or showing the weapons used, the technology used by the North Vietnamese in a similar fashion as we see here. So it looks to be demonstrating the power of the weapons used by the Americans during the war. And you can see, looking at how loud and powerful it must have been sitting atop the tank like that, especially looking at each of the soldiers covering their ears here as it fires. So it makes me realize I haven't really ever seen pictures of the communist soldiers in North Vietnam using weapons even close to that. So the photo kind of demonstrates how much more well-equipped the U.S. military is, how much they rely on this sort of technology. However, you can see they're in the jungle, right? It's war, and it's nevertheless harrowingly tough, no matter what. So it also serves to contrast with what, like I said, the North Vietnamese were fighting with as well. So I'm going to say it shows the difficulty of war despite the apparent technological advantages held by the U.S. Right? So when you go through, you answer those questions, you hit your response, hit next, right? And you do an analysis of all the photos. By the time you get to the end, when you're done, what you're going to do is you're going to use these photographs to tell a story. So it's a story about what? These photos would demonstrate a story about young men and women as well, as you can see in some of the other pictures. Yeah, see, young men and women fulfilling their duty to their country during the Vietnam War. So basically, at the end of this activity, you're being asked to use these images to plan a photo exhibit, right? And it's going to help people to understand the impact of U.S. involvement in Vietnam. So it is from the American perspective, but you're looking at it, it looks like, from multiple perspectives and bringing them all together. You're looking at the rigors of jungle warfare, the types of weapons used, but you're also looking at the role of women during the war as well, and perhaps battle tactics. You could see here in some of the other photos, right? So you're going to be using the analysis that you did throughout to write a sentence basically summarizing your main message of the exhibit, and you're going to divide the exhibit into different sections based on the topics, the subtopics that you encountered as you analyze these photos. So it'll help you to construct your own historical narrative of the Vietnam War. So hopefully that helped you out a little bit in understanding how to use this tool. But yeah, if you do have any other questions, just let me know. Thank you.